Here is the latest project. This is a 2009 KX85 with a KX100 swing arm and KX100 wheels. So it's a KX85 big wheel, we could call it. So this will be a pretty fun bike when it's done. I picked it up for 850 bucks. The bottom end is good, which is awesome. It came with a basically new cylinder, some FMF pipes, gaskets, all sorts of goodies. So the issue with this bike was I bought it. It had a brand new cylinder and Wiseco piston in it, which I do not like Wiseco for the reason that this bike was so cheap, which is, if we can look at the hour meter here, is 0.7 hours that piston lasted. It cold seized, and we can take a look at our cylinder here. We can go ahead and see that there's some aluminum transfer, and I think I have the piston. We can take a quick look at that, but it is also pretty damaged. The good part about this cylinder is, since it's basically brand new, I think this is only aluminum transfer on the surface, and we can just clean that up and run a hone through it, and we won't go through the Nicosil plating. So in theory, we should be able to actually clean this up and reuse this cylinder with just a new piston. So with the cylinder not even being that bad, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and hit it pretty light and quick with the ball hone, and then we'll go ahead and see how it looks after that. Some people don't like to use the ball hones on anything Nicosiled, but from what I've seen, it seems like it's relatively safe. As long as you're not sitting there going at it for a long time, you probably won't burn through any of your plating. So I got the cylinder all lubed up, so we'll go ahead and do a few passes on it and see how it looks. I don't have the most professional setup here, but you know what? It works. So just those few passes really clean this up nice and good. You can very, very faintly see where there's some aluminum transfer, but honestly, I'm not really worried about that because I can't even feel it with my fingernail, and the cross hatching is actually over it at this point. So really, we're just not gonna worry about that. That'll come out and break in, and we're basically good to go. So the next step is just to get the piston all ready, because we'll go ahead, get our rings on, and then we'll go ahead and put it in the bike. Then we can go ahead and put our cylinder on. So the last thing we're doing here is just making sure once we compress these into the cylinder, once it's on the bike, that our alignment pins line up and we don't end up pinching the rings. So what I'm doing is just putting paper towels in here, so when I put the last circlip on the piston kingpin, we don't end up dropping it into the bottom end, because that would really suck. So that's all I'm doing here. Now we'll just put on the piston and we'll be good to go. So I would say that operation went pretty smoothly. Sometimes these clips like to fight you and they just don't want to seat in there. Sometimes they fly out and you'll lose them forever. So we will call that a win. So next step is to go ahead and put the cylinder on. Got it all lubed up here, so cleaned it really good. Went ahead and lubed it with assembly lube, so now it should be ready to slap back on. Another quick step I will take is actually just clean up the seating material or seating face here with some Scotch-Brite. Just get all this little crud off and get it ready for a new gasket. So I got a little carried away here, but I got the cylinder on, I got these bolts torqued down, and then I went ahead and put the head on, as well as reattached the carb and the air boot. So pretty much all that's left is we're gonna start doing our plumbing and put our last engine brace in. Then we're pretty much ready to test fire it. So I went ahead and just emptied the gas because I figure just in case the mix was bad and somehow caused the failure, we might as well get rid of it. So, did the proper way of disposing it according to the EPA. And then I also started to get the plumbing hooked up. So these are still loose, but I'll go ahead and tighten up the motor mount, do the plumbing, and reroute some of our cables. I think our clutch cable is dangling around somewhere over here. So we gotta get that hooked up. So once that's all done, we will basically just put the tank back on, seat back on, and get it ready to fire. So I got the bike all put together, got the exhaust on, everything like that. We got coolant in it, plumbing's all done. Put the plastics on, so the last thing to do is put gas in it and see if it fires. So it sounds like it's running pretty good. It is leaking a little coolant. I don't know if I overfilled the tank. So basically we're just gonna check up on that. We're gonna let it heat cycle once, so got it all warm one time. We're gonna go ahead and do that 2 more times. We're gonna let it cool all the way down, heat it back up to temp, and just let it cool down, just so we get the heat cycles in, hopefully break in the piston. And then really after that, it should be ready to ride.
1 week later.